Hello everybody. So unbelievably we're on week 6 into our second, and I realised the wonderful Sheila hasn't come out for a little while, so I thought she could be my glamorous assistant today. So I hope you're doing all well and that you can choose which videos you want to do each week. Some are a bit more movement led or a lot more on the breath, or some are a bit more still. So really feeling what you need for the day and then choosing the correct video for you. Today I thought we could focus on, I've got this lovely book. I'm just going to lift it up so you can see. I think I've shown these images quite a few times before, so I want to open this up. So this week I thought about focusing on, it's a huge leg there, the connection between the sitting bone, so the bony bit on the pelvis right at the bottom. The fancy name is the tuberosities of Isham. This part is the Isham bone, and the connection all the way down through the leg to the heel bone here. So I find that the heel bone in the foot and the sitting bone, they have quite, hopefully I can get them both in, they have quite a similar shape. Hopefully you can see that there. So this bone here on the heel, or your calcaneus, if you would like the scientific name as well, and the tuberosity of Isham, the two places where we can sit and rest, and the weight of our body can ease in these places. So they're great spots to be able to balance our weight on. So I'll just fold that away again. So that's the 2D version of the heel to the sitting bone. And now with Sheila, hopefully if I sit back a little way, hopefully you can see Sheila here. So her sitting bones are here on this little point of the bone here at the back. Here's the tailbone, the sacrum, and then the tailbone here. So then you've got the glutes here, or the buttocks on the back that you can sit. And these are the bones that you're kind of meant to sit on. So if Sheila's sitting, she will be able to rest her weight onto these bones here at the bottom. And the same with the heels. So even when sitting, the weight can spread through the feet, and there's the connection of the heels onto the ground, as well as the connection of the sitting bones onto the chair or the floor, or when standing, then the weight will go through the foot, the heels connected, and hopefully with a really nice alignment, there's the leg and the pelvis can rearrange the weight through the feet all the way to the pelvis, so that the pelvis can hang comfortably on the top of the legs, and the sitting bones can be in line with the heels, so that when you go to move or sit or stretch, that there's this connection between these two on the leg. So we'll do some movement now. I'm just going to pop Sheila out of the way for a moment. She's a bit wobbly this morning, so I'm just going to lie her down. Actually, this is, maybe I would show you this from lying down as well. So when you're lying down, sorry, her head's very loose. Even when you're lying, there's still a connection between the heel bones here. Please apologise for the head. So here's her heel bones in my right hand. And as you can see, if you're lying on the floor, your tailbone is here, resting on the ground, and your sitting bones are slightly, they're off the ground there, facing the direction of the heels. So even when lying, there's a connection there. All right, I'm going to rest her on the floor now. So first things first, if you get comfortable, and oh yes, at one point we will need, so if you need to pause me right now and then go off and get something, a tie or a belt or anything, a piece of fabric that's long enough that we can reach round our foot and see if we can extend the leg a little. So if you need to get one of these, and also a ball if you need to use underneath your foot. If not, we can use our hands to massage our feet as well. So either a golf ball if you're feeling like you need something a bit harder, or a tennis ball. So these few items. Also, because we're going to be on the floor a bit more, make sure that you're warm and you've got layers. It's a little bit cooler today. The sun's not as bright and as warm. So if you don't have a mat, you can put a blanket out on the floor. Perhaps have some blankets to put on top of you as well. If you can't quite make it to the floor today because of like lower back or like problems with the joints, I think that this class you can also do on your bed or somewhere else where you're a little bit off the floor where you can lie down flat. So anywhere that you feel comfortable and you can lie flat. So a bed is perfectly fine as well. Okay, so let's begin by lying down on the floor. So getting really comfortable. And if you need a bolster or some cushions underneath your leg, that's completely fine as well. You can do that. So we're going to get really comfy on the floor. Making sure that you take your time to really find comfort on the ground. Maybe you need to rearrange a bit the shoulders and the spine so you can use your feet to push and rearrange the lower spine as well. That's great. And then if you have a bolster under your knees, you can allow your legs to relax over them and really let your head and neck relax onto the ground as well. If you're happy to, so you can do this with your legs long. So I'm just going to move the bolster out of the way. So having the connection, even with the bolster, between the heels and the pelvis, the sitting bones. So you can feel free to rearrange yourself, get really comfortable. Perhaps there's somewhere that really needs to shift a bit more, or maybe you just roll down onto the floor in the most comfortable manner straight away. And we're just going to lie here for a moment, allowing the legs to relax. So we're not holding the feet, there's no tension in the feet or the pelvis. You can really let that go. And the same in the chest. Just imagining that the front of the chest is melting through, the spine can soften, and everything's melting down into the ground. And the arms can be by the side of you on the floor, or you can rest them on your belly somewhere, wherever's comfortable. I'm just going to take a moment here. Let's scan through the body like a photocopier, and we'll start just above the head, and we'll scan down. I'll explain as we go, all the way to the feet and then a little bit beyond the feet. So we're just scanning through our bodies, noticing how they feel, not necessarily changing anything, just checking in with the body, how it is today. We'll start just above the top of the head. So in the chakra system, the crown chakra is just a little way off the head. And in Chinese medicine and other parts in the East, they describe it as the star soul chakra. So it shines above your head. So just feeling, how does this space above your head feel? And then we'll scan down, scanning down onto the head, onto the skull. How does your head feel? Your brain, the back of the skull, the occipital bone at the back of the skull, where the spine and neck meet the head. Scanning down through the face, jaw, into the throat, and the back of the neck, and all the wind and food pipes in your throat, down onto the top of the shoulders. How are they feeling? Just noticing, not necessarily changing anything. Scanning the whole shoulder girdle, so the clavicle, the collarbone, and the scapula, the shoulder blades, and all the ribs at the top that hold the lungs and heart. And we'll scan down the arms, so the upper arms, how are they feeling? All the bones and the flesh and the blood, into the elbow, down into the lower arms, into the wrists, all through the hands. There's loads of bones in the hands, and all the tendons to make the fingers move, scanning all the way to the tips of the fingers. Then coming back up onto the chest. So we're going to scan through the chest and all the organs underneath, and the ribs at the back, scanning down the spine, through the thoracic spine all the way to the lumbar spine, scanning the diaphragm and the ribs, the lower ribs, and then into the organs in your belly, just noticing how they feel. And then going down into the pelvis, that lovely bowl that holds a lot of organs and your gut brain. Just noticing how everything feels. And those sitting bones that we're going to focus on a bit more today. Right underneath at the moment, so they're about here. So these sitting bones that we sit on a lot, we use a lot, just scanning them, seeing what's going on there today. And having a feel at the front of the pelvis, how does that feel? And then going down into the legs, the femurs, these huge thigh bones, scanning down the muscles, the back of the legs, all the hamstrings, down into the knees, into the calves, the shin bones, all the arteries and the blood running all the way down the legs to the ankles, all those bones in the ankles and the feet. So scanning through to the foot, that lovely heel bone that we use so much, through the soles of the feet, all the way to the tips of the toes. And we're just going to go a little bit further, extending your scan, same kind of distance from the head. So imagining a root chakra, which is more based here in the pelvis, but imagine it's extending past the feet. Lovely. So just noticing how things felt. Perhaps it was just a simple thing that one side feels different to the other. Or you could feel a bit of tension or pain somewhere. Or perhaps you feel absolutely marvelous today. So just letting everything rest. So we can let that scan and those images and sensations, that can ebb away now. We're just going to rest the hands, the palm of the hands onto the upper part of the chest. And we're going to take 3 breaths at each area. So we're going to do the upper chest, the lower ribs, and then the hands onto the belly. And we'll do 3 breaths in each area to see if we can really shift the breath down, down, down into the body to help everything open and soften. So let's begin. So if you're lying on the floor or on a bed, you can still allow your legs to be relaxed. Perhaps you've still got a bolster underneath or pillows. That's great as well. And also just checking in now and again. How's your head and neck? Making sure they're really released and relaxed today. So allowing the hands to come to the upper chest and really making sure the elbows are relaxed on the floor or the bed, wherever you are. So we're not holding the arms off the floor or holding in the shoulders. Everything can soften and melt down. So we're going to take an in breath here. I'm going to breathe into the hands. Really filling that space up underneath the hands. And then on an out breath, we're going to really let the hands ride on the movement of the ribs as you breathe out. So the ribs are drawing back and melting down to the ground. Even if you're in a bed, you can melt through the bed and down into the earth. And again, breathing in. Let that space underneath your hands really fill up. And then on an out breath, feeling everything sinking towards the ground. Once more here. So we're going to breathe in through the nose. Filling that space underneath the hands and the upper chest, the top part of the lungs, and then breathing out through the mouth. Everything softening to the ground. And then come back to a natural breath. Then we're going to move the hands down to the lower ribs. So just adjust your elbows if you need to. Making sure the head and neck are still relaxed and the legs. And the same thing here. We're going to do 3 breaths here into the lower ribs. So breathing in through the nose. Filling that space beneath your hands in the lower ribs. Drawing the breath down into the lower part of the lungs and then breathing out. Letting the hands ride on the wave and the movement of the ribs knitting together and drawing down to the ground. So the middle part of the spine can now really rest and relax in the ground. So breathing in. Letting everything expand underneath your hands. And then on an out breath through the mouth, everything can melt and knit. The ribs will knit together and melt down towards the ground. Once more, breathing in. Everything expanding and then breathing out. Everything releasing and letting go towards the ground. Lovely. And then back to a natural breath. Then we're going to move our hands down to our belly. So just below the belly button, you can place your hands here. So in Qigong or Tai Chi or a lot in Shiatsu practice, this area here is called the Dantian, and it's your center of your being. It's where your power and your energy comes from. So let's draw the breath all the way down to the Dantian, just below the belly button here. So again, making sure we're really letting go of the rest of the body. And as we breathe in through the nose, we're going to fill this space up underneath our hands, and also thinking about the lower spine as well. So we're not just going this way, we're filling up both directions. So we're going to breathe in through the nose, filling that space up underneath your hands. And then on an exhale, out through the mouth, everything can drop and melt towards the ground. Through the spine and to the earth. Breathing in again through the nose. Filling that space up underneath your hands and also into the lower back. Breathing out. Everything can soften and the belly button draws back towards the spine. Once more here, breathing into the hands. Breathing out, letting everything go. Brilliant. Everything melting and softening into the ground. So you can keep your hands on your belly, or you can let them fall to the side. And just noticing for a moment how you're feeling now, if anything's changed in your body. Personally, I'm feeling a lot calmer, and like everything's evened out in my torso and my legs are really relaxed. So from here, all I'm going to do is make the feet a little bit more active. So I'm wiggling my toes and seeing if I can give the feet a nice shake on the floor, releasing the ankles so you can wobble. And then if the heels, so my feet aren't completely flexed, they're a little bit flexed. So not too much tension, but just a little bit of aliveness in the feet. So I'm rocking, I've got my heels on the floor here, and I'm letting the legs and the pelvis join in. So rocking the feet from side to side. So you can do this in bed, wherever you are comfortably lying. I'm allowing my spine and rib cage to join in. I can feel the movement all the way up to the top of my head, to the crown of my head. So wiggling the feet from side to side. It's massaging the lower back. So you can also go at the speed that you wish to. Perhaps you want to go a little slower this morning or a little quicker, finding the rhythm that works for you. Really allowing the spine to go with the movement and the breath as well. Let's not forget to breathe. Great. So let that movement side to side slowly get smaller and smaller and smaller until the legs can rest on the ground again. So similar thing through the more alive feet. So same thing again, not a full flex, but allowing the feet to just gently be a bit more alive. So a little flex in the feet and the heels on the ground. So I am lengthening my leg, but my kneecaps are still soft. I'm not locking my legs. I'm really allowing the kneecaps to be soft. And rather than sideways, we're now going to do the movement this way. So allowing the feet to kind of point a little bit away and then flexing again. So if the whole body is released and the pelvis is comfortable where it is, so be a bit more mindful if you have a sore lower back today, perhaps just taking this movement really gently. Or if it's at all painful, you can just rest here. If you do have a bolster underneath your legs, you might want to move it out of the way. I forgot to mention that before. So you can really let the whole connection from the heels to the sitting bones here be more active. It's a little bit more difficult, but still possible with the knees bent, but a bit more difficult to feel the connection. So if you can lie with the legs long, that's fantastic. So really allowing the whole body. So if the head and the neck are released, you'll feel this moving up all the way to the top of the head, the crown. Allowing the breath to come in and really allowing the exhale to leave the body. Lovely. And then let that release and allow the legs to relax. That one's very good for the calf muscles. It definitely activates them as they're constantly being worked with the feet, flexing and pointing. So if you draw your feet up so they're placed on the floor, maybe you want to rearrange your pelvis by pressing the weight into your feet a bit more and lifting the pelvis and letting it relax down onto the ground again. Great. So the knees are going up towards the ceiling, and we can allow the feet to relax onto the ground, and the heels are still connected to the ground there. So here we have the connection of the heels and the sitting bones here. So all we're going to do now is just gently rock the pelvis. So we're using the movement from the front of the hip bones here. So the iliac crests, this part of the pelvis, this crest here, the front of the crest, we're allowing to just rock from side to side. And you can place your hands here, or let your arms be long on the floor or the bed next to you. Having a natural breath and going at the speed that you need to. So as the pelvis moves, feeling the connection between the heels and the sitting bones. So the feet are still placed on the floor. We're just allowing the lower back to be massaged into the ground. Perhaps if we've been at home a lot, working from home, perhaps we've been sitting for quite a while, or if you are working from home or watching TV at home, this one's going to be great to activate all of the nerves and let the muscles and tendons release in the lower back and the pelvis. And then gradually make that movement smaller and allow the pelvis to come back to neutral. So the feet are still spread on the ground and the knees are facing the ceiling. Great. So from here, all we're going to do is we're going to breathe in to the belly, the lower area, that dantian, our center, where the strength of our whole being is. So we're going to breathe into the belly here. And then as we breathe out, the belly button draws back towards the spine and to the ground. And so first the belly button draws back, and then I'm going to allow my right foot to flex a little and allow the heel to push away from my body, and my foot still flexed. And then we're going to relax that leg and bending the knee, softening the knee. It's going to pull up sideways if that's comfortable, in an arc, and then back to place the foot on the floor. If that's a little uncomfortable, turning the leg out, you can catch your leg if you want to, or if it's easier to just draw it back up in parallel, feel free to do what's comfortable for you. So I'm going to place my hands on my lower belly, on the dantian, so I can feel the breath drawing in and emptying again. So I'm going to breathe in through the nose, filling the space underneath my hands, breathing out, the belly button draws back and the right foot begins its journey, pushing it away from the body. And then breathing in, releasing the leg, breathing in, softening the knee and drawing the leg back up to parallel in our supine rest. And then taking an out breath. And we'll breathe in again, breathing in to fill the hands underneath the belly there. That's great. And then breathing out, the belly button draws back towards the spine, and the right heel again. Send the right heel away from your body. Perhaps you can feel the neck and the head lengthen. Great. And then breathing in, relaxing the leg, softening the knee, or coming back up in parallel, drawing the leg back to having the foot resting on the floor. Let's do that once more on the right side, and then we'll go to the left. So breathing into the belly again. And the space underneath your hands fill, and then on an out breath, the belly button draws back towards the spine, the heel, send that right heel away along the floor. So the whole spine's long. We have a connection between the heel and our sitting bone. Great. And then breathing in, relaxing the leg, softening the knee and drawing the foot back to being placed on the floor or the bed. Lovely. So we're going to do the left side now. We're going to breathe into the hands, into the belly. Breathing out, allow the belly button to draw back. Lovely. And now the left foot flexes and send that heel away from the body. Breathing in, relax the leg, soften the knee and draw the knee back to place the foot on the floor or the bed. Great. So breathing in again, filling the space up underneath your hands. Breathing out, allowing the belly button to drop towards the spine, melting into the ground. The left heel moving away from the leg and the pelvis. So the spine's nice and long. Breathing in, release the leg, softening the knee and drawing the foot back to be placed onto the floor. So let's just do that once more on the left side. So we're going to breathe in to our hands, into that lovely area in our belly. Breathing in, breathing out, the belly button draws back towards the spine and then the heel can move away. The left foot flexes and moves away. And then breathing out, release the leg, soften the knee and draw the leg back again. Great. So you can rearrange your pelvis or shoulders and spine on the floor, making sure the head and the neck are still released. And allowing a natural breath to come in. So stay lying there. I'm just going to put a bit more light on. It's quite dark today. So stay lying there, relaxing into the ground. Great. So really allowing your weight to really melt into the ground. And we have the connection of the heels to the sitting bones. So with our leg movement of drawing away and relaxing the leg and picking it back up either sideways, or you can lengthen the leg, soften the knee here, and then draw the knee back up to the ceiling, whichever is comfortable for you, to the side or just drawing back up again. So now we're just going to add a little bit of arm movement in. So as one leg moves away, all we're going to do is from the hands on the belly, we're just going to allow the elbow to draw up towards the head. Obviously with the shoulder, only go as far as is comfortable. So if lying the arm on the floor is uncomfortable, keep the elbow soft and only draw to wherever is comfortable. So the arm can still be bent here, the elbow soft, or if you prefer the arm, you can have it nice and long, elongated. And if it's not okay to reach the floor, just go to where it's comfortable, because we're going to come straight back, softening the elbow a bit more and curling back down to the belly. So we're working on this plane. The elbow draws up and then the elbow draws back down again. So we're using this movement. And doing the movement that's comfortable for you. So we're not going to stay with the arm above the head. We're constantly going to keep the arms moving. So let's put those two things together. So we're going to breathe into the belly, filling the space underneath the hands. And then as you breathe out, the belly button draws back towards the spine and melts into the ground. The right heel foot flexes and the right heel moves along the floor or the bed. Great. And keeping that leg activated, we're just going to allow the right arm to peel up towards the head, either resting the arm on the floor or wherever is comfortable. Breathing in, breathing out, folding the elbow back down, relaxing the leg, breathing in again and drawing the knee back to having the foot on the ground. So it's a very slow movement. We don't have to rush anything. You can take your time. So let's do the left side. So we're going to breathe into our belly, into that power of us being, into the dantian. Breathing in, filling that space up underneath our hands. Breathing out, the belly button draws back, the left foot flexes and the heel moves away from the body. Great. Breathing in, so keeping that left leg activated all the way to the feet. Breathing in, we're going to allow the elbow, the left elbow to draw up, lengthening the arm, work to wherever's comfortable. On an in-breath, breathing out, the elbow folds back down so you can place your hand on the leg, relaxing the leg, and breathing in, picking up the leg and placing it back down on the floor. Let's do that a couple of times on each side. I'll keep alternating, so we're going to go right, and left, and then we'll rest again. Of course, at any moment, if anything feels uncomfortable, feel free to rest or just do the legs or the arms. So breathing into the belly. Breathing out, the belly button draws back, the right foot flexes and the heel moves away from the body. Breathing in, we want to keep the leg activated and the foot, the elbow draws away and uncurls towards your head. Breathing in. Breathing out, the elbow folds back in. Lovely. And then relax the right leg. And then breathing in, picking up the leg and placing it back down on the ground. And then the left side. So breathing into the belly. Breathing out, flexing the left foot and allowing the heel to be pushed away from the leg and the pelvis. Breathing in, the left elbow uncurls up towards the head. Really breathing in. Lengthening the arm and the heel away. Breathing out, the elbow, left elbow folds back in again. Relax the left leg. Breathing in, drawing the leg back to place the foot on the floor or the bed. So once more on each side, breathing into the belly. Breathing out, the belly button draws back, right foot flexes, heel gets sent away. Lovely. Breathing in, the right elbow draws up, lengthening the arm and uncurling it towards the head. Breathing out, the elbow folds back in, place the hand on the belly and relax the leg. Breathing in, drawing the leg back up, so place the foot on the floor or the bed. Breathing in, last time on the left side. Breathing in, feeling that area underneath the belly. Breathing out, the belly button draws back towards the spine. The left foot flexes and the heel gets sent away. Lovely. Breathing in, the left elbow uncurls, draws up towards the head. Feeling the length between the fingers and the feet. Breathing out, the elbow folds back in and place the hand on the belly. Relax the left leg. Breathing in, we want to draw the leg back up to standing again. Lovely. So hopefully you're feeling this connection between the heel and the pelvis, and then with the arm extended, it helps lengthen the spine and the pelvis a little more to feel that you're really nice and long, elongated along the floor there. Great. So from here, wherever you are, you can have your feet resting or with bolsters underneath the knees, or perhaps you're okay to lengthen the legs out again. So you can allow your body to rest again, making sure your pelvis is comfortable on the ground and your shoulders are relaxed and the scapula are melting into the ground and the ribs and the chest are soft at the front. How's your head and neck? Is it nicely released as well? So just feeling the connection of the heel and the sitting bone as we're lying down. Even if you have bolsters or cushions underneath your knees, feel the length in your legs. Great. So from here, just going to wiggle our toes and fingers. Keep the extremities awake. Lovely. And we're going to roll onto one side. I think we've done this one lots before. So we're going to open up the chest and the ribs at the back as well. So I'm just going to, rolling onto one side, making sure you're really comfortable. Just going to move this a little so you can see. And if you want, you can take a cushion for your head. I'm going to use a small block and place that on one side. So I'm going to lie really comfortable, making sure my spine's nice and aligned, so I'm not too far forward with my pelvis and curled up, or that my pelvis is too far back and I'm extending the ribs. So we want to make sure that as though we're sitting in a really nice comfy chair, the spine's nice and long, as though it's like a pearls on a necklace, just dangling or along the floor there. That's great. And the knees are soft, one on top of the other, and the same with the feet if that's comfortable. If it's a bit sore on your lower back, you can place a cushion in between your legs here if that's comfortable. It takes a pinching off the sacrum and the lower back. So allowing the shoulder and head and neck to be soft as well. We're going to extend the arm underneath, so that's my right arm. I'm going to place my left hand on the top, and all we're going to do is we're going to keep our breath nice and calm and natural. And we've done this lots before. We're going to draw the arm, sliding this arm up and along the other arm, and only going as far as is comfortable. Perhaps today it's just to the elbow or to the shoulder, or if you're very comfortable and you feel that you can roll out and open the arm. I don't have much room there, making sure you've got room as well, and allowing the arm to come to the floor if that's comfortable, or just placing opposite shoulder. But we really want to make sure that the spine's soft and it can come with us. So we're not just moving the arm like this with the shoulder girdle and head and neck still. We're going to allow this movement to move our upper chest and spine. So we'll just do this for a little while, feeling where you want to go to today. There's no rush. You can do this in your own time. Really allowing the head and the neck to go for the ride. Even if it's just up to the elbow, there's still that space opening in the shoulder girdle. And the ribs can be soft and easy, so we can allow the space to move in the ribs. Making sure your cushion doesn't move like mine. That's great. I find this motion of palm stroking the other arm, it calms the nervous system down. So if you're at all anxious or can't sleep, this movement in the evening before bed is really good and will help calm the nerves down, whatever you're anxious about or worried about. And it's really going to help everything relax, go into the parasympathetic nervous state, which is where we really want to be able to rest. It's our resting state in the nervous system. Lovely. Making this one the last one, drawing the hands together. Lovely. And then in your own time, however's comfortable, rolling over to the other side so you can rearrange your shoulders and move the feet. That's great. And then rolling over to the other side. I'm just going to move completely, so my head's the other way, so you can still see what I'm doing. So you can just roll from one side to the other. Lovely. So same thing again, getting a cushion or block, making sure our pelvis is still in line with the rest of the spine as though we're sitting, and we've still got the connection between the sitting bones and the heels here. So the feet together, that's great. Making sure the shoulder's comfortable on the ground and the head and the neck's comfortable too. So we still have this wonderful connection here in the leg, the heel and the sitting bone, even with the knees soft and together. So same thing, palm on top of the left hand, and we're just going to go for a ride. Perhaps one side's a bit easier than the other. This is also as well as calming our nervous system down, which is good for our immune system and our state of mind, and really good for the digestive system, so we can digest and eat well. This movement is also really good. It's massaging gently the lungs and the heart in the rib cage. Especially if you lie on the left side, the heart's going to have a little bit more of a massage than on the right. But it's a very gentle massage. So again, only going as far as is comfortable, maybe just up to the elbow or the shoulder, or perhaps the opposite shoulder. Or if you really want to go far and can and you're comfortable, allowing the arm to rest on the floor so you make a T shape with the arms and coming back. Really allowing the head and neck and upper spine to be moved with the movement of the arm. That's great. So we can really undo all of the movement, letting any tension go in the body. Great. And then making that your last. Placing the hands together again. And then just resting here for a moment. And let the feet relax and the head and the neck relax as well. How's your breath? Where do you notice it in your body? So from here, we're just very gently going to come to sitting. So if you're comfortable, you can sit on the floor with some cushions, and we're going to massage your feet. This is a bit uncomfortable. Come to sitting either on the bed or a chair, wherever you have access to. So using your hands to get up, taking your time, there's no rush. So sitting wherever's comfortable for you. I'm going to stay on the floor, and we're going to take one foot at a time and massage it. And I'll go through a foot routine to massage the feet and wake the heel and feel that connection when we come to standing with the heel and the sitting bone. If you're sitting on the edge of a bed or a chair, I'll show you here. So this is where you'll need your tennis ball or golf ball. So getting comfortable on the chair. I'm going to choose the tennis ball today. So all we want to do is place the foot on the ball. Sorry, I'm just moving that again. So first of all, before we even place the foot on the ball, sorry, my head's cut off here, but I really want you to focus on the feet. So we want to rearrange the pelvis, even if you're on the edge of the bed. See if you can wiggle and feel the bony part, the sitting bone on the pelvis. And the same with the feet. Are they spread on the ground? Are the toes relaxed? Can the heels be just resting on the ground, just like the sitting bones are resting on the chair? And then the rest of the spine can float upwards comfortably. Great. And then we can take one foot on the ball, whichever one you've chosen, and go around the foot, the whole foot, where the toes are attached to the middle of the foot, the arch, perhaps on the inside a bit more, on the outside, massaging the heel. Great. So people who are sitting and want to use a ball, take your time with each foot, really going into all the places on the foot there. That's great. So I'll leave you to do that, and I'll just move the chair out the way, and we're going to do a foot routine if people don't want to use a ball. So you can also do this sitting on a chair. If you can bring the foot up onto your leg, if that's comfortable. If not, we'll stay sitting on the ground. So I'm going to rest this leg here like that. You can also place one leg over the top of the other if that's comfortable. So to warm our hands up, create some chi and energy in the hands and the body. And then we're just going to squeeze the foot all over as though it was clay and we're getting it ready to sculpt. Warming up that foot into the ankle. Let's not forget the ankle, very important. And the heel. Warming up the foot, making it more malleable. Great. And then I'm going to place one hand on the ankle and one on the heel. So I've just lifted the foot up a little bit. I'm just going to circle the heel bone. Different directions, really allowing the foot to relax. Great. And then placing it down. And the same thing, how is it with movement through the foot? You might find this easier with the foot off the floor, allowing it to be on the opposite leg. Moving the foot around. It's amazing, it can flex and point. And there's also this twisting movement that can happen in the foot as well as sideways as well. All the way to the toes. Okay. So holding the heel, we want to give it a nice squeeze. So I'm pressing my thumb underneath the foot. So if you're sitting and using a ball, you can also do this with the tennis ball or golf ball, allowing a bit more pressure in through the heel. Great. And then with the thumbs, I'm working along the sole of my foot until I'm just underneath the ball of the foot, right in the middle of the foot there. That's an amazing pressure point in shiatsu and the pressure point in acupuncture as well. That's kidney 1. It's called the bubbling spring. It's a fantastic point for many a thing. It's good for grounding. It's our energy gate to allow energy coming up through the earth, not the heavens, unless you're walking on the ceiling. It's also a really good point if you're tired or can't sleep. There's many things it's great for, so giving that a really good press. And then all the way to the toes. So taking each toe, so I'm squeezing, don't know if you can see, I'll get a little bit closer. So this is the point kidney 1 here. And now I'm going to take each toe from the little toe, I'm going to squeeze each toe either side and then give it a little wiggle. So each toe giving a good squeeze and then a little wiggle. So you allow your leg to relax. I'm just showing you so you can see a bit easier. all the way to the toes, tip of the toes, giving a good squeeze on that big toe and then a little wiggle. Great. And then to finish off that foot, just giving it a little bit of a slap underneath. So making sure the wrist and the hand's very relaxed, energizing the whole sole of the foot. Wonderful. Great, and then we're going to do the other foot. So sitting however's comfortable for you, we're going to squeeze the foot all over, warming it up as though it was a bit of clay we're going to sculpt. So squeezing the ankle, the heel, the rest of the foot, all the way to the toes. Great. And then from here, I'm going to place one hand on my ankle and the other on the heel. I'm just going to take my heel bone for a circle. That great calcaneus. It's a brilliant bone. So it's a very good connection to the ground for us humans. Great. And then the same with the rest of the foot, how it moves. If it's relaxed, you can flex and point it, and there's movement sideways, and also a slight twist in the foot. Only going as far as is comfortable, of course, but you all know that now. By now, yeah. Great. And then taking the thumb, I'll show you like this, thumb or fingers, and just pressing into the heel a little bit more. So if you're sitting on the chair, you can do this with the tennis ball. Pressing into the heel, and then using the thumbs, I'm going all the way down the sole of the foot to that lovely point, the kidney one, which is here, just below the ball of the foot, and pretty much in the middle. I want to give that a nice press. Like I said before, it's great for lots and lots of things. It's the energy gate on the foot. Lovely. And then all the way down to the toe. So starting from the little toe, taking a hold of it and then squeezing it and giving it a little wiggle. Then the fourth, the third one. Great, then the next. And then the big toe, giving that a good squeeze and then a wiggle. And then to finish off, really loose wrist and hand. Just want to give the sole of the foot a gentle slap, waking up the sole of the foot. Heel to the toes. Great. So if you're sitting on the floor, if we come to find a chair or perhaps on the edge of a bed, so if you've used a ball, just placing the ball to one side. And we're going to come to sitting. Just move that back a little bit. And if you have to hand a belt or dressing gown, belt or a tie, anything like that, now's the time we're going to get these. So I'll use the longer one. Great. And I'm going to come to sitting here. Hopefully you've got all of me in. Great. So from here, same thing. Get comfortable on the chair. So for me, sitting all the way back, my feet are not flat and connected on the floor. I'm going to sit more forward on the chair, so I'm away from the back of the chair. I'm allowing my feet, they feel much better now we've worked them, feel a lot more soft and relaxed and also energized. So spreading the feet on the ground, allowing them to be soft as well. Great. And then the same with the pelvis. How's the pelvis on the chair? I'm going to make sure that we're not sitting back on those meaty bits onto the glutes or overextending the other way where the sitting bones are almost off the chair and the ribs are splayed out. We want to make sure everything's nice and comfortable and neutral in the center. Sitting bones are connected and the spine can float all the way up to the sky. Great. So this connection between the heels and the sitting bones. So perhaps let's just lift the heels off a few times and see if we can connect to the sitting bones on the chair. I don't know if you can feel that. So my pelvis is just gently rolling back a little bit, and I can feel the sitting bones being moved on the chair underneath me. Don't worry if you don't feel anything. I'm sure your cells are figuring everything out. And then release and relax the heels onto the floor again. So now we're going to take our belts. So you can have a longer one if you want. And I'm going to take the left foot into the strap there. Well, actually, I haven't got quite a long enough one. I'm going to tie these in a knot. So I've got it a bit longer. Basically, we want to be able to more or less lengthen the leg away from us and hold the straps as well. So you don't have to come to a fully elongated leg. You can keep the knee soft, but it's the motion of the heel moving away. So choosing which foot you want to go first, I'm going to go with the right foot. So we're going to breathe into the belly, breathe into that dantian, making sure our pelvis is nice and soft, and relax our chair and the spine can be released as well. As we breathe in, the belly button fills up, and as we breathe out, belly button draws back a little bit towards the spine, and we can lift the leg up off the floor. So there's a connection between the sitting bone and the heel. Great. So we're breathing out here. We're going to breathe in again, and as we breathe out, we're just going to lengthen the heel away. So my foot's flexed, and go to the angle that's comfortable for you. Great. If you can get your leg pretty much 90 degrees, that's brilliant. Or perhaps it's more of a 45, which is also great. But it's the connection between the sitting bones here and the heel. Great. And breathing in again. Feel that sitting bone on the chair a little bit more, and then breathing out, pushing the foot away, lengthening the leg, making sure the knee's still soft. We don't want to lock the leg. Great. Breathing in, drawing it back in. Breathing out, sending the heel away. Brilliant. Once more, breathing in, drawing the leg in. Can even come to here. And then on an out breath, sending that heel away. Lovely. And then releasing the foot to the floor and letting the foot strap go. So letting the feet soft onto the ground again, spreading the feet onto the ground. Perhaps there's a difference between one leg and another. So let's do the other side. So the left side or the right, if you've done the other way. Catching the foot in the strap. Same thing here. We're going to breathe into the belly. Breathing out, lifting the leg up. Breathing in again. Breathing out, flexing the left foot or the right. Sending the heel away. Let the leg go to whatever angle is comfortable for you. Breathing in again. The connection between the sitting bone and the heel. Breathing out, sending the foot away from the body. Brilliant. Breathing in, drawing the leg in. Breathing out, sending the leg away, nice and long. That's great. Breathing in, gathering the leg to wherever's comfortable. Breathing out, sending the heel away. Great. You can keep the leg bent if it's too strong a stretch on the back of the leg. Breathing in once more, drawing the leg in. Breathing out, send that heel away. Lovely. Breathing in, gathering the leg and sending the foot back down to the floor again. Release the strap. That's great. So you can let the strap go to the floor. Let the feet soft, again spreading into the ground and the sitting bones in the chair here. Lovely. That's great. So from here, we've done it a lot of times before. I'm just going to move the camera again so you can see the top of my head. Thank you, that's great. So We've done it lots of times before. So if we gather our hands together and we're going to do the wagging dragon's tail. So hands in prayer position and fingertips away from the body. See where your arms would like to be. I'm keeping my hands fairly far away. So feet are soft on the ground, sitting bones really comfortable. So I'm not sitting on the soft glutes and I'm not overextending. I want to make it nice and comfortable and balanced on those sitting bones. And I'm spreading the fingers wide open like this. I'm just going to push gently the left hand into the right. And just like the exercise we did on the floor with the palms moving, I'm just going to allow the upper spine to go with the movement. So sending the left hand into the right. And when you've gone far enough as is comfortable, the right hand pushes the left to the other side. So we're just going to gently move the hands from side to side, allowing the spine to join the movement. It doesn't have to be a huge movement at all. We can stay quite small at the front, but the movement from the hands ripples through the rest of the body, whilst the feet, the heels and the sitting bones are very much grounded. Allowing the breath to be natural. Going at the speed that's comfortable for you. Lovely. We'll just do this a couple more times. And we're going to gently bring it in smaller, allowing the movement to become smaller sideways, becoming gently, gently smaller and smaller through the hands and the rest of the body. Great. And we can undo the hands and then give them a little bit of a shake out, and the arms. Lovely. So from here, if you feel able to, and you're on the edge of sitting on the edge of a bed or a chair, the connection through the heels and the sitting bones, if this is comfortable for you and you're able to do it, how is it to just stand straight up? So we can breathe in. On an out breath, we can just stand straight up, allowing the feet to really press down into the ground so we can bounce straight to standing. So I'll demonstrate that if you need to. So we're going to need to see it first. We're going to breathe in, breathe out, and just stand straight up. Nice and tall and long. The legs are super long and elongated all the way to the top of the pelvis, and the spine can be nice and long on the rest of the legs and the pelvis. That great connection we've made for the last part of this class. So we're really able to stand nice and tall. Great. So you can do that a couple of times. If it's a bit uncomfortable to stand straight up, you can rest your hands on your knees. So on an out breath, you can pitch forward and then soften the knees a bit more and tip the pelvis back under as you stand up. So 2 ways of doing it. So you can keep your hands on your knees, pitch forward, so the weight's now on your feet, soften the knees a little bit more and the pelvis tucks back underneath you to come to standing. Or if you feel like you can just breathe in and out, straight up to standing. That's brilliant. So I'm just going to move the chair to one side. Okay. Oh, sorry, I keep moving this not in the correct manner. Great, and we'll come to standing. And let's just press our feet into the ground. Move this out of the way. Lovely. So we're just pressing the feet into the ground. Walking toe to heel toe to heel. Lovely. And then just come to rest your weight in your feet. So hip width apart or shoulder width apart, whatever's comfortable for you. And keeping the knees soft and the ankles soft and the feet are spreading. And the pelvis is nicely balanced on the top of these marvelously long legs. And the spine can be soft and the head and neck are released as well. Great. So let's just lift the toes up off the floor and then gently place them back on the ground. And then the heels, lifting the heels, floating up to the ceiling and then back down again. Same thing, toes and then the heels, floating off the floor and back down. Let's do that once more on each. So heels, soft down to the ground and then the heels floating up and then the heels back down. Great. So now with the toes and the heels resting on the ground, so I'll turn sideways so you can see a bit better. Let's just play with our weight. So sending the weight forward and then center and back a little bit. So we just want to feel the difference with the weight forward and back. So the connection between the heel and the sitting bone. So here is totally exaggerated. The back of my legs are more long and stretched out and the front are a bit more contracted. So center and then back a little bit. Same thing. So my pelvis feels like it has to drop forward. So this is open and then this has become shortened at the back. So we want to find somewhere in the middle, that neutral ground where that feels comfortable for you. So the pelvis is really able to rest on the top of the legs. The sitting bones are directing towards the ground and to the heels as well. So the heels are nicely rested in the ground. Great. So you can stand up nice and tall. This effortlessness, as though you're a pendulum going upwards, nicely relaxed and balanced towards the sky. Great. So from here, with our weight centered, we're going to breathe into the belly. Breathing out, the belly button draws back towards the spine. And as we breathe out, we're just going to lift the right foot up. And then breathing in, lifting the knee up a little higher, breathing out, sending that foot away. And then we're just going to step onto it. And then the other foot can close again. Okay, so I'll face forward so you can see that from this way. So we're going to breathe into the belly. Breathe out, the belly button draws back into the lower back and then the foot can lift. So I'm flexing the foot. I'm going to breathe in, the knee can lift up a little bit more. Breathing out, send the heel away and step onto it. Step onto that nice long leg. So I'm going to go this way. So maybe you want just a little bit of space in your room, wherever you are. We'll just do twice on each side. So keeping the spine nice and relaxed and long. So we're going to breathe into the belly. Breathing out, the belly button draws back towards the spine. You can lift the foot off the floor. Breathing in, lifting the leg a little. Breathing out, extend the heel away. The connection between the sitting bone and the heel. Breathing out and then stepping forward onto that foot and then bringing the other one in. Let's do the left side. So breathing into the belly. Breathing out, the belly button draws back towards the spine. The left foot comes off the floor. Breathing in, let's bringing the knee a little bit up on the in-breath. Breathing out, pushing that heel away. Doesn't have to be very tall. It can be nearer the ground. And then stepping onto that. Lovely. Once more on the right side. I'm going to turn around so you can see the right side this way. So I'm going to breathe in. Breathe out, the belly button draws back towards the spine, the foot lifts. Breathing, that's on an out breath. Breathing in here, lifting the leg. Breathing out, the heel sends away. So the connection between the heel and the sitting bone, and then stepping forward onto that and closing the other foot. Side. So breathing into the belly. Breathing out, the belly button draws back towards the spine, lifting the left foot. Breathing in, it lifts a little more. Breathing out, send the heel away. So connection here between the sitting bone and the heel, and then stepping forward onto that. Lovely. So if you wish to, you can play with this a couple more times. If you want to see if you can extend an arm and a leg away as well. See that nice long spine and the connection between the heel, the sitting bone and the arm being lifted to help the spine be long. So you can play with that as well, but it's really to let the legs be long so we have a more stable and supportive base for us to stand and sit and be lying comfortably as well. So from here, we're going to go back down to the floor, sitting or lying. Let's go back to lying down if you can, whether that be the floor or the bed. Get really, really comfortable, and we're going to do our relaxation now. So making sure you're very comfortable. Perhaps you want a blanket on top of you, or cushions under your head or under your knees. Really getting comfortable. So that great connection between the heels and the sitting bone, as we were standing, is still present as we're lying. So I'm being very generous to myself today and having a nice blanket as I rest. And you can do the same. If you feel you need a little bit more comfort, don't be afraid to use it. It's very nice. So making sure the feet are relaxed. Perhaps you want to wiggle them a little bit. How's the pelvis? You can release the pelvis by wiggling. So you can have your legs long, or pillows or cushions underneath with the knees soft up towards the sky, up to the ceiling. How's the shoulder and the rib cage where you're lying? Are your shoulders and your chest relaxed and your head and the neck released as well? So just lying here, letting everything melt to the ground, just like we did at the beginning. Have a natural breath. There's nothing to do now. Everything can relax and release. All the tiny cells in the body. Allowing the face to relax and the jaw. Allowing the ribs, the pelvis, the knees and the feet to relax. To give in to the weight of gravity. And then for yourself in your mind's eye, just scanning again from above your head, into the head, the neck, the shoulders, just seeing how you are now, into the arms, all the way to the hands, scanning the ribs, all the organs in the chest, the heart and the lungs, down the spine, through the diaphragm into the organs underneath your belly, the sacrum, the pelvis, all the guts and organs in your pelvic bowl, where the legs join the pelvis, scanning down the upper thighs, into the knee, the lower leg, into the ankles, the feet, those heel bones, the connection to the sitting bone in the pelvis, scanning down the foot, all the way to the toes and a little past the toes, down into the earth, and releasing that. So you can stay lying here, you can drift off, or simply relax on the ground or on the bed wherever you are. And I'm just going to read some lovely words from a book. It's Environmental Arts Therapy and the Tree of Life. So today we're just going to really relax on the ground and have these words as a visualization I'm going to put an extra video on this week if you did want another 10-minute meditation, but I'm not going to include it in this part. But if you did, however, wish to, I'll make another video for you, which will be on the website for this week as well. So really resting into the ground. Yes, so this is from the Environmental Arts Therapy and the Tree of Life book. Yeah, like that. Great. So this is the summertime. There is great healing in wildness. Most of the problems that face us in contemporary society, both personal and cultural, come from our separation from our innate wildness. Somewhere in the evolution of human consciousness, we have forgotten that we are mammals first and have distinctly mammalian needs. The need for intimacy, curling one around another, hot blood and fur, the scent of our bodies intertwined. The need for community, the loyalty and kinship of a pack, the thrill of the herd running as one. The need for parenting, the child gathered to the heart, the teeth and claw held ready in their defense. The need for anger, the clash of antlers. Defending our loved ones, our rights, our homes and ourselves. The need for our natural habitat, to run barefoot in long grass, to climb trees and tumble into rivers, to feel the cold crash of waves upon our skin and the fury of a storm all around and within us, to sleep beneath the stars on a bed of moss. Wildness is not just the snarling beast. The unmown grass is wild too, swaying in the summer breeze and alive with grasshoppers, flies and spiders. The laughing stream is wild, the long cold night is wild, the snuffling hedgehog, the grass snake in the heather, the great dark fish suspended in the lake. We are wild too, and our body remembers this, even if our mind does not. When we take off our shoes and socks and step lightly upon the earth, our body remembers. When we clamber up into the branches of a tree, our body remembers. When we stand with our arms outstretched on top of a mountain and feel the wind sweep the lines from our face, our body remembers. So this summer season, which is not quite here, but it's on its way, having drawn this power in, we can now begin to use it, directing it outwardly upon the world around us. It's a very outward time, and we need our power if we wish to pursue our dreams and strengthen our relationship within it. So just allowing those words to waft over you, or for you to take them in. Whatever you need to do. Perhaps you've drifted off, and that's totally fine as well. So we're going to come back to our breath wherever you are lying or sitting, on the floor or on a bed. We're just going to come back to our breath. Where do you notice it in the body? Perhaps if your eyes were closed and you are awake, how is it to just gently open the eyes? Perhaps wiggle the fingers and the toes, coming back to your body and the sense of where the borders are of the skin. And if you wish to, you can just come up to sitting. Lovely. So if you wish to do an extra meditation, I'm going to put another video online for you. If not, enjoy your day, enjoy your week, And I hope it's nice and calm and relaxed as the feeling that you have right now from this session. So let's draw the arms up sideways, bringing them into prayer position, drawing down. Namaste, and thank you very much for coming to our